Today we're upgrading our home switches to these smart Wi-Fi light switches. So we're going to hook them up to the Tapo app today, swap them out the old ones and see how they work. All right, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is come and find your circuit breakers. Hopefully you're fortunate enough to have your circuits labeled. We are, and we're going to be working on the upper hall lighting, and this is also attached to the restroom that we're going to be replacing the switch on. So first thing, to turn it off, all you got to do is go from the on position to the off position, give it a little bit of force and go boop, turns right off. So now here at the switches, double check to make sure the power's out. So normally the light would turn on, but we have the circuit disabled, so there's no power to the vent or the light. So here's what's in the box. Got some pretty good packaging. So you're going to have the wire nuts, the screws to put the switch in its place on the junction box, and then the switch itself. So here's the switch, and here are the wires. You have your two wires, essentially connect inside and allow the current to flow. When you have the switch off, the current can't flow. This is your grounding wire. Make sure you're safe. If there is an electrical short, if you don't wire this green wire in, you risk electrocuting yourself. So don't risk that. Make sure you properly ground that wire. And then lastly, depending on the home you have, this is actually one of the challenges I've had installing this on older homes. You don't always have the neutral wire. So if you don't have the neutral wire, you'll have to find a way to get power. That won't be a part of this video. However, if you do have a newer home, many times the neutral wire is in place and you're able to leverage the one that already exists. Let's go ahead and get started. You don't need very many tools to install this. You will need a screwdriver. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use a drill. The drill bits that go with it, I'm going to need a flathead and a Phillips. And then you're going to need some wire cutters. These are the basic tools you'll need to be able to install that switch. Let's start off by removing the faceplate. After you remove the faceplate, you'll see that there's some screws placed here that are joining the switch to the junction box. Put that off to the side, making sure not to forget what direction it's going. You want to flip them on accident and confuse everybody in this household when your light switch now turns on your exhaust fan. You'll see three wires. We'll start off with the left switch, cutting the wires off. Cut the ground one off too. Now here, you'll take off 1/4 inch. We are not going to use the faceplate on this one, so we'll remove it and it snaps off. It's a little bit challenging, be a little bit careful because you can break it, but you can take off that faceplate. Put these two together with the wire nut and twist. Now give it a tug on both ends, make sure it doesn't come off. Okay, perfect. Now the green wire is going to go to your ground, and that should be the last wire nut that you need. All right, and all three of them are wired up. Same process. So now you'll be left with these two white wires, which we're going to connect to neutral. Let's double check, make sure they're gripped on there nice and tight, nothing comes off. Now we can begin attaching it to the junction box. You have to put all the wires back, preferably the way you found them, but these switches are going to be bigger than the original ones. So you'll have to push a little bit harder than it was to get them out. So again, remembering the direction that they were in so that you don't confuse your family when you have these installed and the fan turns on instead of the light. And the direction of these switches, I guess it's technically possible you can install them in either direction, but I like to install them this way. So now we know they're both going to fit. Install the switch to the junction box. All right, so now down at the breaker box, let's find the breaker we turned off relating to the restroom. Turn it on. It didn't jump back, which is a good sign. If it hopped back, turn that thing off real quick because that means you have a short. All right. Well, now that we have power, let's go ahead and work with some light. So with your switches blinking orange, that means that they're ready to pair. Download the Tapo app. At the time of making this video, this is what their icon looked like. And it's due for an update. Nice. Let's get that out of the way now. Alrighty, now that we're on the latest version of the app, let's go ahead and open it. Assuming you've already registered with Tapo and created an account, so we'll go ahead and start at the landing screen here at the home page. So on your top right, there'll be a button to add a device. Go ahead and hit that button and hit add device. You're gonna hit switches, TS15, which is the switches that we're installing. And we've already installed it. Luckily, you watched this video and you got it installed. So now let's hit next. Your Tapo switch should be blinking orange and green. So if it is, hit already blinking. It's gonna find your device and the switch it detects will stop blinking orange. It'll just start blinking white. So I've already selected a Wi-Fi network and connect my other switches to it, and it'll jump to the next page and put the password in for it. So at this point, you'll be able to name the smart switch. Again, looking at the switch that's no longer blinking orange because you did just install 2 of them. So this is the upstairs restroom light. So now you'll see here in your favorites, it'll appear at the very top. It's on right now. All right, so repeat the process for the second switch. So that's it. Your switches are installed, ready to go, and you can control them from your phone. If you'd like to see any other switches installed, different brands or anything like that, don't forget to leave it in the comments. Let me know if there's a specific brand you prefer or if there's something that you want us to do a review on. All right, well, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.